So I'm back out this afternoon in the spot where I like to go and collect firewood. Today, besides collecting firewood, I'm going to do a little comparison between the general purpose blade that comes with my Agawa Boreal21 folding bow saw and the spare blade that I bought just recently called a Sidney Aggressive blade. I'm hoping that the Sidney Aggressive blade will allow me to cut through the larger pieces faster and easier than the general purpose blade that comes with the saw. So that's what I'm going to do this afternoon, do a little comparison test between those two blades and see how they perform. I bought my Boreal21 saw on Amazon, and later I bought the case from Agawa directly. I'll put the link to Agawa in the video description. Quite a nice saw, nice and compact. Love the fact that it folds, very easy to carry. As I said, I bought the case from Agawa Direct. It's quite a nice case actually. It has a small compartment here in the flap. It's closes with Velcro, and it allows you to store spare parts. I've got some spare parts for the saw in there, some spare clips and so forth. If something happens and I happen to break one of the clips, I've got spare ones there. Also, there's a compartment on the inside of the case that holds a spare blade, or you can put several spare blades. I would suspect you could probably put 3 or 4 blades in there. So this is the blade that I bought. It's a Sidney Aggressive blade, as I said. And what I'll do is I'll show you the teeth on the general purpose blade that came with the saw and compare it to the Sidney Aggressive. Here you can see the teeth on the general purpose blade that came with my Boreal21 saw. Here is the Sidney Aggressive. There are 53 teeth on the Sidney Aggressive blade and 71 teeth on the general purpose blade. All right, let's see what the general purpose blade, how thick it is. .56 millimeters. Let's check the Sidney Aggressive. Make sure it's zeroed. It is. Wow, I guess the Sidney Aggressive is a little thicker. I should mention something else about the case. First of all, just a reminder, I mentioned that there is a small compartment pouch here in the flap of the case so that you can put some spare parts in there, some of the blade clips, and anything else you want. On the inside, as I said, there's a second compartment where you can slip in a spare blade. There's the spare compartment for the spare blade, and then the main compartment for the saw. On the back, there are 3 loops, one at the top, one in the center, and one at the bottom. And you can use those loops to attach the case to your rucksack, perhaps, or you could do something like what I did. I had a spare shoulder strap, so I used some key rings. Put a key ring at the top, on the top loop, one on the bottom loop, and now I can carry the saw either slung over my shoulder or over my back. So a nice little option, something that you can do to carry the case. The material of the case, I think, is going to be quite durable. I think it'll last for quite some time. It feels quite strong, so a good case overall. Well, I've been busy. I haven't compared to two blades yet. I decided to do a little bit of cleanup of the area. There are a lot of branches lying around from the last time I was there, so I thought I would cut them up. And they're right here on the tailgate. All the pieces are between 9 and 11 inches, and that's because the Pomali TI mini titanium stove that I have is only 12 inches deep, so I try to cut everything between 9 to 11 inches in length. So not too bad. That'll add to the rest of the wood that I've collected over the last few trips. So as soon as I'm finished my tea, I'm going to head back and I will do the comparison of the two blades. That's the general purpose blade on the Boreal21 saw made by Agawa. And then I'll swap over to the new blade that I bought, the Sidney Aggressive. Maybe I'll just show you how this comes apart. So right here, you just pull back on the handle and the whole blade, everything just comes apart. The blade then drops into the saw frame itself, and part of the handle fits in there as well. Whoops. Like that. Then you fold over the main part of the handle and the saw is completely folded. Now to assemble the saw, just flip the main handle over, drop the blade out like that. Then right here is a notch. The notch goes into the handle itself, and then you just push down on it and the saw is together. So very simple to put it together and to take it apart, and very nice saw. I'm really liking it so far. It's very sturdy. It's definitely solid. I think it's a really nice design, and the way it takes down and you put it back together, very, very simple. All right, I'm going to finish my tea so that I can get off back to that trunk, that tree trunk over there, and do the comparison of the two blades. So this is the tree trunk that I've been cutting. Now I can't cut through this tree trunk with the Boreal21 completely because it's just the diameter is too big. I believe it's somewhere around 10 inches. Yeah, so in this case here, it looks like it's 10 to 11 inches in diameter. So I'll cut through the trunk as far as I can go with the Boreal21 saw, and then I will finish the cut using my silky saw here. This is a silky Zubat 300. 12-inch blade on that, so that's what I'll have to use to finish cutting through. So I'm cutting pieces about 10-11 inches in length at the most, so that's 11 right there. So it is marked. Now let's see how fast I can cut through this tree, and then I'll compare the other blade. That's the Sidney Aggressive blade, and see if it cuts faster, easier than this general purpose blade that comes with the Boreal21. I have to admit, I mean, this blade does cut very nice, but what I was finding that it was getting pinched for some reason. I'm not quite sure what the reason was. It may have been the way the log, the tree trunk was sitting on the ground at the time, because now I've elevated it up and propped it up on another tree here. But I mean, it does cut, don't get me wrong. The blade that comes with this saw cuts very, very nicely. I'm just curious to see if that Sidney Aggressive blade will make the job easier, will cut faster through the log or not. Because right now, I mean, I'm through an inch. I've already cut over an inch through. So you can see this blade is doing a nice job. It's cutting through quite fast. I think I'm going to have to switch to using the silky saw now. Now this blade is not as thick as the silky, so it'll be a bit of a job getting this blade in here. This silky saw is a great saw. I might buy a second one, maybe get it a little bigger. I think there's a 14-inch. That might be nice to have. So this one just cuts through. You can just see the blade on the other side a little bit. And this is a 12-inch blade. Getting there. It's a good workout. Whew. I am just about through. There we go. Now you can see what I just cut through. So anyhow, the general purpose saw seemed to do a nice job. I'm going to switch out the blade now to the Sidney Aggressive and see how that one does. I'm going to switch out now the blades. So swap the blades. I'm going to put the Sidney Aggressive blade onto the saw itself. Now, I've never done this before, but it's pretty straightforward. All you got to do is remove this clip here at the front, and then at the back, remove that clip. So obviously I've got to open up the saw so that I can get at that particular clip, and then I'll install the Sidney Aggressive blade. Got to be careful. I don't want to lose that clip even though I have some spares. Let's see, maybe if I use the screwdriver part in my Leatherman and push it backwards here. Sorry if you can't really see that. There we go. So there's the clip. Clip comes off, and then you just pull out this little shaft. Now I'm going to do the front. Try to make sure you can see what I'm doing. It's just I don't want to lose that clip. As I said, even though I have spare. So there, I just pushed it back. Comes off. And you push out the... Let's see here. No, it's not. Oh, there we go. So it comes out. There you can see it coming out. Now, we're going to put in the other blade. There's another piece in here. You can see that right there. I wasn't paying attention. Well, yeah, okay, I see how it was, I believe. Put the blade in there. So the blade fits inside. There's a cut. There's a cut right there. The blade fits in like that. That's basically a spacer. Now it's in place. Going to put the pin back in. I hope you guys can see all this. So there you go, the pin's in. Now I'm going to put the clip back on. There we go. All right. And we put that there. Push the pin through from the bottom. Take the clip. And I'm going to push it on using my Leatherman. You do get 2 spare clips with the blade when you purchase the blade, the Sidney Aggressive, and probably with any other blade. All right, there we have it. The blade is installed. I always find having Leatherman extremely handy. So now we're just going to put this saw together, and there you go. That's it. We've got the Sidney Aggressive blade installed. So let's go and try that blade and just see how it compares to the general purpose blade. Sidney Aggressive blade is installed. Now I gotta pull this out a little more. Let's see if I can do it or not. It's pretty heavy. Let's see if I can move this out a bit. Yep. I'll cut off 10 inches, 10 or 11 inches. That'll be perfect length for the Pomali TI mini titanium stove. Okay, right there. There's no doubt about it. This blade is definitely cutting faster than the general purpose blade. This blade is definitely more aggressive than the general purpose blade. Yeah, there's no doubt about it in my mind. It is cutting through this this piece much faster, easier. I just wish this tree was a little more balanced on here, so I could use both hands on the saw. Well, that is as far as I'm going to get with the Boreal21. The verdict. Definitely, this blade is more aggressive, as its name. It's definitely more aggressive than the other blade. I think I'm going to leave this blade on here. Not that the general purpose blade is bad, it's not, but I think I cut through this much easier and faster with this Sidney Aggressive blade. So I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to have to use the silky saw to cut through the remainder of this trunk. Now, yeah, and you know, I got the silky saw blade in here much easier. So now I did measure it. I can't remember. I think that blade is thicker. It has to be thicker. That's why this blade went in so much easier. The other when I have the other blade on, the general purpose blade, it is extremely tight to get the silky saw in here, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting the tree again, making the cut bigger, but not with this saw blade. I got right in there. Here it comes. There we go. Nice piece. I'm gonna cut another piece or two off, and that'll give me even more of a comparison using that other blade. But yeah, the verdict is it definitely cuts easier and faster, and I like the fact that the blade is is wider, so that when I need to get the silky in there, I can very easily and finish off the cut. So definitely like this Sidney Aggressive blade. I am definitely very happy with this blade. Give you a look at it. So 53 or 54 teeth, and it is definitely an aggressive blade. It cut through this log much easier and faster in comparison to the general purpose blade that comes with the saw. But again, nothing wrong with that blade. It cuts well, but I like this one because it cuts through faster, easier, and because the blade is a little thicker, when I have to follow up using my silky saw, it fits right into the cut easily. I wish I could get the log to stop moving on me. It'd be a lot easier if I could use both hands as well. Probably a couple of more inches with the Boreal saw, and then I'll have to switch to the silky. I'm thinking I might have to get myself a Boreal 24. Might be nice to have both saws, to have the 21 and the 24. The other limitation here is not just the diameter of the wood that you can cut, it's you know, how much you can pull it back and push forth, you know, without your hand always hitting the wood. So if I had another 3 inches on this saw, so a Boreal 24, when cutting these large diameter trees here, might be easier on my hand anyhow. I'll have to look into it. Nope, not quite. I'll have to use a silky just to finish it off. There's not much left. There's not much left to cut, actually. I almost got lucky here. Now see, the silky fit right into the cut, so that blade being wider than the general purpose blade is really nice if I have to follow up with the silky saw. There we go. So that piece, the Boreal 21, just about cut that whole thing. There was maybe a ½ inch left, that's it. There you go. All right, gonna cut another piece. This will be the last piece. I got to get back home. All right, about there. I've been sawing around the tree trunk here, and I think I might actually get through it using only the boreal saw here. So close. All right, this is harder than it needs to be. I think there's only like an inch to cut. More work for myself than there needs to be, seeing I've got the silky. I think there's like 1 inch left to cut in there. Let's try the axe here. No, that didn't do it. Perhaps there was a little more than an inch. Let's see here. There we go. Another nice piece. And the last piece, I think, for today. So, the verdict on the blade, definitely the Sidney Aggressive blade is more aggressive than the general purpose blade that comes with the Boreal21. So I do really like this blade. So, and overall, I recommend the saw as well. It's a great saw. Cut quite a bit with it. I'm really liking it. I like the fact that it's foldable. You can put it in your backpack, rucksack very easily. I bought that nice case for it. I put a strap on it so I can sling it over my shoulder or my back. So bonus, and that case also holds spare parts in the flap. There's a small compartment that's velcroed, and inside the case itself there's a second compartment where you can put the spare blades. So overall, the Agawa Boreal21, along with its accessories, definitely a very nice folding bow saw. Well, that's it. Until next time. So get out, do something, enjoy the outdoors.